On this episode of the Shed Sesh, we make a workshop bench for $100. Okay, so all we're doing here is we've got our 3.6 metre length of flooring. So one of the things I found with this stuff, for what you're getting, it's pretty cheap. So you've got the bench we're making is going to be 2.4 or 2400 long, and then so all I'm doing here is getting the top cut without taking off my fingers and my legs. I'm just setting up the saw there with the stop. I didn't have a straight edge that long at that point anyway, so I couldn't cut along that. Just making sure I'm not going to chop into the sawhorses here. You should try to get only cut as deep as you need, so you aren't going to go chopping through your sawhorses or into anything you shouldn't be. Yeah, so I've actually got the blade a bit long there, but I get about halfway through and decide that it's time to, I'm getting a bit of droop on the right hand, behind. So I went and grabbed a clamp and came back and just clamped that so it didn't snap off towards the end. Now that piece there is going to be used as the back of the workbench as well. So all I'm doing here is chopping up it's 45 by 90, I think it was, pine, and just clean up the edges, sort of through the cut list. It is about 900, or I'm about 6'2", so I wanted it a little bit higher than a standard bench. So I always find that I just need that little bit of extra height. And when you're making your own bench, you can make it as high or as low as you want. So all I've done there is just clean up the bits, went through the cutting list and chopped everything to the size that I needed. Really all it is a basic sort of ladder frame design. I did have some batten screws already, so I didn't need to purchase those. You could use smaller screws. You could probably even just nail and glue it together. It's you're just going to make sure it's all clamped. Nails are there to hold it while the glue dries. Probably could have done this upside down as well, but I didn't. I sort of balanced it up there and clamped it all and pre-drilled all the holes for the batten screws just to make sure I didn't split anything, and then got on with it. Okay, so I've basically got the legs in position and screwed in close to. As I said, pre-drilled everything before the batten screws went in, and then I started looking into putting the sort of the leg stays on. You'll see I initially look at putting it on the outside, and then figured on the inside I could use it as a bit of a base of a sort of shelf. So I initially clamped it on the outside, then the cog started turning and decided to go on the inside. So all I'm doing here is lining it up, making sure it's the same width, top, middle and bottom, pre-drilling and chucking in the batten screws. As I said, you could do this with a nail gun and some glue, but I use the batten screws. there we go, job done. So I did, as you can see here, I did put an extra set of legs in the middle and a backing across the back. So I kept everything a little more stable. Just did the same thing. As you can see there, I've got it so I can put in a bottom shelf. So now it's in the back shed where it's going to go, and I'm bringing in the top that we prepared earlier. So we got that on. Fit great actually. It was I was quite impressed. I've got cables and everything on the floor there I'm trying to get around. So now I screw the back on. So the idea here was so this is this part from before, this piece from before. Just screwed it to the back of the pine, and then I wanted to be able to clamp the worktop as close to that as possible. So I screwed that in. Again, these are screws I've collected over the years, did a kitchen years ago, and there was a whole bunch of leftover screws, so they come in hand. So I did pre-drill the holes as well, whilst resting my belly on the desk, and then drilled in the screws. So I just went through, marked them all. Tried to get a bit of an even pattern across the board. As you saw, it was that sort of ladder frame, so I just wanted to make sure I hit the centres of the pine, and then just went through and just put in a heap of screws. Okay, this is that offcut from the start, where I shortened it from 3.6 to 2.4, and this is all I'm doing here is making the shelf. So I'm just chopping cutting it down to probably the 600 mark. Could have done that to start with, but it was already long enough. Right about here, I probably should have thrown a few more clamps on. Everything's moved. Still got my fingers, using the level as a straight edge. So, and that last piece I cut off there, I just mounted on the end. So I had it enclosed. There's nothing worse than chucking something on your bench and it slides across and drops down the back, so or down the side. So I wanted to make sure all that was looked after, and the bench has actually been working very, very well. Exactly what I was after. And that is it, all finished up. So I'm just getting ready to move it into position. But thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe. I'm learning in these videos. This video was done, it could have been 6-8 months ago, so I'm slowly getting them out, and so take it easy on me, but we'll get there. And thanks for watching. Love your work. Get in the shed.